Hello everybody. I got a 2007. It's a Toyota RAV4 with a 2.4 liter. Well, I did a head gasket because, as you guys can see here, it was leaking oil. And it was just not a small leak. It was a big oil leak. As you guys can see down there, still a little bit there. I'm still working on it. I got the head gasket replaced already, and I sent the cylinder head to the machine shop, and they cleaned the head, at least inside. But one of the things I want to mention to you guys is here is the hard part. Once you remove the exhaust out, the intake, it's pretty easy. Here I will recommend to remove every single bolt on the timing cover. I got the timing cover clean right now. I had to scrape all the gasket material, but here is the tricky part. I was just checking identifix and all data, and luckily I took some pictures before I took it apart. I mean, here, at least in the timing. I have this camshaft off a little bit, but when I check my pictures, I noticed right away the cam lobes, it has to be down here, and this one's the same way. Another thing is this cam lobes is gonna be like kind of like 11 o'clock kinda, and that is gonna be like a 12 o'clock. Right now the timing cover is not here, as you guys can see, and the timing tensioner is not here because it's part of the timing cover. But I'm gonna mention right now the exhaust stem is right here and where it's supposed to be, and the timing is marked right here. You on the timing chain, you just put it right here where the mark is, or the paint. And this one is the same way. If you have a little mark right there, the yellow mark right there, so you just put those, and you gotta make sure these cam-lobes has gotta be pointing down, and this one's the same. And you're, I will say, you are right there on the timing, or you are really close. And the only thing you have to check on the bottom is when you remove the timing cover, it's gonna be this plate. Don't forget to install this plate. It goes right here, right behind this bolt, because if you forget, you have to do a lot of work. This plate is part of the ringtone, so if you don't install it, the car is not gonna run, because it's part of the crankshaft system. So as you guys can see, there is a timing, and here on the crankshaft it's gotta be like almost 12 o'clock. And I think this engine is the same like a Toyota Camry. So this bolt is for your timing. That's for the timing chain. So if you lose this, you can rotate the timing chain. If you don't lose it and you're off, you're gonna be fighting for a while. So I do not disturb this little timing chain because I didn't have to. So you gotta make sure you clean the timing cover here pretty good, pretty clean. And also you gotta make sure there's nothing here because you had to use silicone. If you don't have the part, if you don't have the timing cover clean and the oil pan, it's not gonna seal. And you have to make sure it's dry too, out of oil or contaminants. So on the back, on the on the back of this engine, there's only 5 bolts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But underneath, right here on this lip, right, that one right there, if you don't have the bolt out, all you're gonna be doing is just doing this. You're just kind of like trying to take them off, but it will not come off because of this part of this intake. It has that. And also here is I believe for O2 sensor, and I had to clean this intake manifold. This one is going to be a little tricky, and to install, this is what I do. Let's say if I'm going to install it right now, this is it's in the engine. So what you had to do, just put a little bit grease here. What I use, I got a assembly group. So what I do is I just use a small amount of this goop. You don't need much, just like that. And let's say this is the bolt, which is 12, but it's not. See, it doesn't fall off anymore. It doesn't matter how hard I do it, sticks in there. And this is not magnetic, just a regular bolt. But with the grease, you don't have to worry about loosening up the bolt, because all you have to do is just install it and just tighten it, and see, still there. It doesn't come off. And just because the grease is used as a goop, that's why they call goop. And see, and just there's nothing there. There's no magnetic. It's just an old Craftsman socket, and the grease, it just works pretty good in there. And you can use this not just in this job, and on other jobs too. See right there. And here's the other one. So I say 5 bolts, and I forgot that one, so I apologize. And that one will go like way over there, like right there in the corner. But that one is not going to seal. This is the one that seals the air. See, it's got this one and it has that one. And as much as hard as you pull, it's not going to do it because it's pretty good build. One thing I'm going to recommend to you guys to do it is check this little hose right here, like the water bypass. The customer, this car is this engine. The engine is being swapped in this car. This is a JDM engine, and one of the problems I have is because the engine was a JDM. It was not a. Sorry, I'm trying to do 2 things at once. Okay. This is American head bolt, I could say, because the engine It's made for American cars, even when it's a Japanese, but this is a version, American version. So this is a JDM head bolt. I was trying to use the new bolts, and let's say right there, it's like an inch short. And I had a problem even when it's the same bolt, but it was short. And this bolt will not come off. It got stuck. So I drilled the bolt. I drilled, and the drill went off a little bit, but it didn't hurt nothing. Because if you don't use the right socket, you will strip it. And this is the head bolt socket. I got this from Snap-on, and it's 12 triple square socket. So, like I say, this socket will not come off. Even if I use the right one, it was so tight. It got tight. It got stuck. I mean, that's what I was trying to say. It got stuck, and it was no way I can take it off. So if you got the head gasket out and you're going to install it now, you have to start like this. If I remember, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's like 80 inches. 8 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And those right there, I think it was like 22 foot-pounds. They require a little bit more torque, and of course they are 12. I mean, they are the socket for the bolt is 12. And the pitch for the socket is like 8, and the little ones are like 6x1. I'm trying to show you here the specifications. Hold on. So this is Identifix. This is what I use. Okay, so right here is the head bolts. To tighten the head bolts. Okay, right there. You start number 1 and you work it out. And I think it's like a 52 foot-pounds. Yeah, apply a little bit light coat oil. Do not load it with oil, otherwise you're gonna crack the head or something. You can damage it too. So right there is a 52 foot-pounds on the head gasket, and after that you're gonna do a 90 degrees. And let's say the bolt is being torqued and I don't have a paint mark, so what I do is I punch right here in the like a 12 o'clock with my chisel. I just make a small cut, so I verified every single one has one, and after the 90 degrees, every single bolt has got to be in the same position or really close. And I didn't disturb this, so I reinstalled in one piece. And before you install the camshaft, apply a little bit oil and the cylinder head right where this sits, right where the camshaft sit. And I did remove this one because to remove the timing chain, because it was a little tight. So I use a 24 millimeter And right here's where I was holding it, and 42 foot-pounds here, and hold it right here, and should be fine. Once you got the camshaft tight, and make sure when you install the timing chain, make sure you don't have to tap the center on the cylinder head, because otherwise you're gonna hit something, or you can bend the valves too. So if for one reason you mix the camshaft caps, the cups, I think it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the big one is like a number 1. Let's see if it shows. So this one is number 1. Right here is like number 2. I don't know if you guys can see. 3, 4, and 5. And this side is the the advanced, you know, the sprocket adjuster, or the VVT. And this side is longer than this, so there's no way you can mix it. The same thing on this. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And like I was mentioned, right here is the Torx for installing the camshaft, the cups. So it's a 20 foot-pounds, the big one. The number 15, 16, 15, and 14. Those are the big ones. It's like a 12 millimeter socket, and the rest of it is 10. So on the big ones, you're gonna use 22 foot-pounds, and the small ones you're gonna use 80 inches. So I'm just gonna leave it like that so you guys can see. And that's it. All you have to do is just make sure you put everything together. Make sure the timing cover is nice and clean, and that's it. I'm gonna bring the timing cover so you guys can see and give an idea. If this is your first time you're gonna do a head gasket, you guys can also give me shoot me a text, and I will reply. I'm gonna grab the timing cover. And here is the timing cover. As you guys can see. Oh, one thing I'm gonna mention to you guys is here for these 2 bolts is the power steering pump, and right here is the timing adjuster or tensioner. Yep. And this hole is for the crankshaft. That's why on the sprocket on the bottom I was mentioned. Make sure you guys install that. So this one I'm going to install in the next few minutes, but this is the timing cover. You gotta make sure you remove all the bolts before you start taking it apart. I mean, before you pry it. So there's 1 right here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna stop there. 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24, which is right here on the top. 24. And this one you don't have to worry about it because the timing cover, I mean the valve cover, sits in there. Right here, where is it? On the timing tensioner, you gotta make sure it's nice and clean. If you can put a new gasket, that'd be wonderful. If you don't have a time for that, you gotta make sure it's nice and clean, the gasket in this area, and you apply just a small amount of silicone right here. Very, very small. Make sure it doesn't go inside, so you don't want to contaminate anything there. And right here, applies tension to the timing chain. And the reason I'm doing this job like that is because that little the little hose I was mentioned early, the one goes right here, the water bypass blew up, disintegrated, and overheated. So that's why I'm doing this job. But I just mentioned to you something. If you guys doing that head gasket, so just do it patiently, and do not forget to replace the thermostat, which is right there, because you don't know what happened. Like me, I didn't know what happened until they mentioned to me, oh yeah, that hose right there that blew up. Like, okay, well, small things that can lead to big things, and you know, it's like one thing after another. So it's a little chilly right now. This morning was like a 22, 24, and here in the shop it's a little cool. So I see you guys next time, and don't forget the tricks. Don't forget the grease, the assembly group, and it's still there. This thing is not magnet, it's just the grease. That's it, look. You can use that trick in anything. Like for example, when I was down there, I used just to remove the, what was it, like a 12 millimeter socket. I didn't have to use this trick because I use a swivel socket, but to install it, I want to make sure that the bolt stays there. So good luck with the project. Make sure you clean all this crap. Put a new gasket here, because sometimes these gaskets, they tended to get hard. So I'll see you guys next time.